Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of tips and tricks on how I managed to study and prepare for pathophysiology. If you are not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe down below. Go ahead and like this video, of course, if you liked it. And don't forget to click on that little bell notification just to be notified every single time that I upload a new video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right in. Alright guys, so I went ahead and wrote down 7 study tips and tricks on my notes section in my phone, so I'm going to be kind of reading off of this throughout the video. I put a lot of time and thought into each little tip that I have for you guys because pathophysiology is not an easy course at all. However, it was one of the best courses that I've ever taken in my college experience just because you learn so much. And in this video, I'm just going to be giving you guys those little tips, and I really hope you guys find it useful because everything that I'm going to explain in this video, I did, and I passed that class with an A, so I'm hoping you do the same. Okay? All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into this video. So my step 1, go ahead and take out a pen and paper if you need it because these tips will help you out for sure. So my tip number 1 is going to be organized. This really goes for any class that you're taking, but specifically for pathophysiology. If you're not organized, you're really going to find yourself like backtracking and becoming behind because the workload is so heavy. You're going to find yourself like playing catch up the entire semester. So my advice to you is I would just honestly be organized for the first day of class. Have your binders, have your pens, have your paper. Be prepared because you don't want to get behind in that course at all. Okay, so my tip number 2 is basically if your professor gives you assigned readings, most likely they will be, especially because they want you to familiarize yourself with the topics that are being discussed. However, if they give you guys these readings, I would suggest and highly recommend that you skim these assigned chapters before your lecture class. I say this because you want to familiarize yourself with the material that's going to be covered, the topics that are going to be talked about. You want to take advantage of your education. Like you are there, you are paying just as much as the person next to you. You don't want to fall behind, you know, like you want to participate just as much as your neighbors are. So what I would do is before class, I would skim through the chapters, I would read the chapter summaries, I would do like the end of the chapter quizzes, and if I had any questions or concerns or just things that weren't really making sense, I would get like a long sticky note on the side and just write down anything, like literally anything that I questioned throughout the reading. And this gave me an opportunity to ask any of these questions. So my tip number 3 is going to be if your professor gives you guys any PowerPoints before class starts, I highly recommend, and this is probably like the most important to me, is to print those out. I would print them out like a little grid. I'll show you guys here in a second. But print those out, bring those to class with you, and throughout like the lecture, your professor says like they're explaining something more into detail, you know, I would like do like a red star, like, okay, Darren, really hone in on this. If they like elaborated on a certain topic, I would just like do a little squiggly line and like write word for word what my professor would say, especially because a lot of the times like the exam questions are what they said in class. So not stress to you guys how much this actually helped me pass this class. With my professor, she allowed us to, like, she gave us access to our PowerPoints, I think like 3 days before class started. So I would also like just skim through this, you know, kind of again, the same way as I would do for my reading, I would also like become familiar with the material that was on the PowerPoints too. Because typically this is what they focus on during the exams. So with this, you guys can see that it's literally just the PowerPoints in like that grid format, right? And then during class, like I would just do little notes like off to the side what she would talk about. So yes, I would do this just throughout the entire semester. Like you guys can see all my little squiggly lines and stuff on here, all of my notes. This was my holy grail, my saving grace. This is where it's at. Print off those PowerPoint notes, So now my tip number 4 is after class, like directly after class, I would go to the library and I would handwrite all of my notes. I would take this little grid-like PowerPoint note piece, whatever, and the little notes that I told you guys that I would write, you know, before class started, like the questions that I would have, and if she answered them, I would include those. So what I would do right after class is I would get this PowerPoint right here, and I would rewrite it on a separate printer paper here. This allowed the information to stick, and really just like, I feel like if you rewrite all of your notes, obviously it's scientifically proven that it just helps you memorize the material more. And especially like during exams, I would remember my format on here because I would constantly study this. I mean, I wrote it, you know? After I would rewrite all of my notes for my PowerPoint, I would then go home and go a little more into detail in my book. So like the assigned chapters, again, I told you guys I would just skim it, just kind of got a general idea of what we're gonna be talking about. I would go back home and really hone in into the topics that she really emphasized in class, you know? So then what I would do is I would just get little pieces of paper, I don't even know where I got these. I think it came from like a little notebook or something. But with these, I would actually just write down the things that I thought was a little bit more important within those chapters. But my tip number 6 is really because pathophysiology is the study of diseases. Every single week we were given like, I don't know, 5 or 10 diseases to look up and really know these diseases. So we were given, I believe it was called like a blue paper. I forgot what she called these, but she would print off, you know, these forms that were just completely blank. And it was our job to go home and like further understand each disease that we were going over for that exam. So for example, I just wanted to show you guys in my little note section here. As you guys can see, covered a lot of diseases, and I just wanted to briefly share with you guys what one looked like. So with these notes, I really recommend that if your professor doesn't require like these in your course, still do them because it flippin' helps you so much, and it really helps you to understand the disease and what is really going on, who's at risk. This is just such a helpful resource in my eyes that if your professor doesn't require it, I would still like recommend like finding one of these papers on Google or something. So my tip number 7, I kind of mentioned it in number 6. So my tip number 7 really was just to rewrite those notes in your own words, just because it kind of helps you better understand the information and it just helps it stick a little better. So, all right, so my tip number 8 is going to be towards exam day. I would really recommend that you guys get all of your notes, or at least this is what I did. I would gather all of my notes and I would really study like the ins and outs of all of these diseases, because anything that was ever talked about or covered is really fair game, and you will soon realize that you can't just focus on what you think is important, because the littlest tiny thing is going to come up on your exam. So I would definitely also say is give yourself enough time to study. And I don't know, this is kind of where it comes back in with being organized. Just give yourself enough time to study for these exams, because they are very heavy weighted. They are not easy. And in my eyes, at least, you know, they may be easy to you guys, but I did have to put in the extra time and effort. As you guys can see, all that I did for just pathophysiology alone. And yeah, with this class, I put in a lot of time, a lot of hours just to study. And I was so shocked that I got an A in this course. But as you guys can see, I freaking gave it my all. And I honestly do believe this class is doable. You know, if you just put in the time, the energy, the focus, like you got it. You got to make sure that you're organized. And I really feel like if you follow all of these little tips, maybe not one after another, you know, like you do it in your own style, in your own fashion, but these things are really just what helped me, and I'm pretty sure they will help you just as much. So that actually does conclude this video for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I put so much time into these little tips. I really hope that you guys find it of use. And please, in the comments down below, let me know if you try out any of these tips and if they help you pass. I wish you guys all of the best of luck, because I mean, we're in this together. You know, I'm going on to block 2. I'm pretty sure some of you guys are either going into nursing right now, or you guys are in my shoes. We're traveling together. So I just wish you guys all of the success and all the blessings, because nursing is difficult, but it's doable and it's exciting. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And don't forget to like this video. Go ahead and follow me on my new Instagram that is fitness and nursing focused. My name is Scrubs and Squats, which is the letter N with an underscore at the end. I'll post my name right here. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on there, just to kind of be updated with me on a weekly basis and just to follow me along my little journey. So I love you guys so much, and just like always, have a beautiful, blessed rest of your week. Bye guys.